Hello out there again, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with another figure review. Yes, I bought more than one figure when I went to GameStop. And that is because I have heard a lot of good things about this line. Especially from fellow YouTuber Red is Power, who has changed his name to Hasbra now that I think about it. This is one of the Fortnite 4-inch figures, Carbide. Now, I'm not going to say anything about Fortnite because I've never played Fortnite and I don't know anything about it. But I do know that this figure is made by Jazzwares. And I do remember saying a lot of things about Jazzwares back in the day when they held the Sonic the Hedgehog license. And how I always held that toy company in higher regard than most other toy collectors, mostly because I really like the Sonic toys. I also admired how they were actually willing to go in there and make unique bucks for more figures instead of just using the same base body over and over again. Looking at you, Hasbro. So when I was at GameStop, I saw that they had Bandolier and Technique in stock as well, but I didn't see Raptor or Drift. If I had the chance, I probably would have bought Drift, and I was very tempted to get Technique as well because I do love me some female action figures, but Carbide, he just has that really cool mech suit kind of thing going on. So I decided this would be the first Fortnite figure that I ever got just to see if it's any good. One thing is that the packaging is so not collector friendly, and it's not kid friendly either, because it's kind of in the same kind of packaging that you would buy headphones in. There's no way to open this without literally cutting it apart. So, let me get a pair of scissors and get this guy out of his, well, I wanted to say card, but it's not really that, is it? Alright, just for a little bit of context, I want to remind everybody that this figure retails for about 12 bucks at GameStop, so it's not a very expensive figure at all. It's comparable in price point to like a 4-inch Marvel Legends figure. That being said, this is amazing. First of all, I want to say, like, as soon as I got this thing out of the packaging, I could tell it was a Jazzwares figure. I don't know how many people are gonna be in on this, but I can tell a Jazzwares figure from the smell. Jazzwares, for some reason, their plastic that they used to make their action figures out of, it just smells different from most other action figures I've messed around with. I'm not sure what's the cause of that odor, but yeah, I could just tell. It's the kind of plastic that, like, if I stuck this figure in boiling water, I'm pretty sure I would be able to dismantle him because that's the kind of plastic that softens up. It's the same kind of figure that Sonic figures are made out of, is what I'm trying to get at. So, like just on, like, that kind of level, I am that intimately aware of that this is a toy made by Jazzwares. Like, so you could have handed it to me, told me that this is the new Marvel Legends figure, I would have held it in my hand for a couple seconds, and I'd be like, no, this figure was made by Jazzwares. Okay, but yeah, weird olfactory memories aside, Carbide has amazing articulation for a figure this size. He rivals and even surpasses most 6-inch figures. First of all, his neck is on a ball joint, allowing for some tilting and turning, and that ball joint is in itself on a pin disc. I just popped his head off by mistake, but you can now see the pin disc. And the pin disc does have some subtle detents in it. He also has shoulder joints with ratcheting. I can feel that. I hope that's coming through on the audio. He has an elbow. It can almost, yeah, actually that's a solid 90 degrees. Like, if he didn't have the armor sculpt like that, he could probably get a deeper bend. But yeah, solid bend at the elbow and bicep swivel at the elbow. You see that, Funko? That's how you do a bicep swivel. And he has a wrist swivel with a hinge. Don't normally see that on figures this size. He has a ball joint in his torso, like a G.I. Joe figure, allowing for a lot of movement. But despite having this really good ab crunch and his Like, I don't know what you call this, but he can also do side to side as well as forward and backward. Even though he has that, he still has a waist joint. Although the waist joint is a lot tighter and it breaks up the sculpt. So I would prefer to use the torso joint as a de facto waist joint. This just seems like a more natural place for his body to bend. But it's nice to know that you have both if you want it. Legs are amazing. He has ball joints in his hips, allowing for a full split, and they can go all the way forward for sitting. So if you had like a toy car or something with a seat that he could sit in, he could sit in it. The sculpt of his butt does prevent his legs from going back too far, but you know, that's a common issue with a lot of action figures. You know, like if you want that ass, you can't have that leg movement. But, you know, how far forward he can kick is a compensation for the fact that he can only kick backwards a little bit. And he has a thigh swivel, which is masterfully hidden by the sculpt. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell just from looking at it that this is a swivel there. He has really good double-jointed knees. Gotta love double-jointed knees. And he has some ankle pivot with a detent and an ankle swivel. So this guy is all loaded up for bear with all of the articulation, and the figure is pretty well balanced enough that he can stand in really cool poses. Look at that, no support at all. So yeah, this figure, he looks great, he poses great, the plastic feels good, and wow, if only I knew something about Fortnite, then I could be totally behind this figure. He has two accessories. One is this really nifty pickaxe type weapon, which, due to the flexibility of Jazzware's plastic, means you can put that right into his hand, and he has a nice, tight, solid grip on it. Yep, no overly stiff plastics for this guy. He just has that really good compromise between just soft enough that you can flex the fingers around, but also hard enough that once it gets in there, it snaps back to his own shape, so he has a nice solid grip. That's one thing I always loved about Jazzware's plastic. I don't care what people say. I always preferred the type of plastic that Jazzware's action figures were made out of. Usually when Jazzware's failed, it was on some points of construction, like they made a pin too small so that it would snap easily or something like that. But nope, there's absolutely no QC issues on this. They put detents in the joints that might get a little floppy just to make sure that the detents would hold it if the friction couldn't. And like, aside from that, everything else just feels fantastic. He also comes with this plank of wood that looks like it's designed to interconnect with other planks of wood. See, like there's little detents here and little tiny pegs sticking up here, so you can connect them to each other for like a buildable thing. And it has a little peg which fits into the holes on his feet, so you can use it as a stand. That way, if you want to have some crazy dynamic kicking poses where you're standing up on one leg, you can totally do that. So, yep, comes with a stand. And, like, holy crap, this thing just looks amazing, it feels amazing, it is amazing. This is a fantastic toy. And at this scale, it's utterly amazing. At this price point, it's almost unbelievable. And the fact that it was made by Jazzwares, who we haven't really heard anything toy-wise since they lost the Sonic license several years ago. Like this... Like, how does this thing exist? How is this a thing that I am physically holding in my hands right now? I feel like this popped out of some alternate dimension that, you know, where all my wishes came true or something like that. And look at that, you can even two-hand hold that pickaxe that he has. So, like, this is... Wow. If I knew more about Fortnite, I might actually be tempted to get the whole collection, because this is freaking awesome. He also comes packaged with this nifty poster. It's a very long poster. Like, on one side it shows a whole bunch of characters, some of which have been made, some of which apparently are coming soon. Like, these guys were in the wave. That Raven character looks really awesome. And I have seen Cuddle Team Leader made by, I seen like the 6-inch figure on Hasbro's channel. I think, was it McFarlane that made her? I don't know. Like go to Hasbro's channel. I'll link it below so you can see his reviews. But yeah, like Like these figures, if the rest of these figures are as good as this will probably be one of the greatest action figure lines based off of a video game ever. And look at all these accessories that come. Like apparently you can buy accessories separately, all kinds of guns and stuff. And on the back there's like bags and book bags and crazy tools and all this kind of stuff. That's amazing. This toy line is freaking amazing. And yes, he does have a hole in his back for those backpack accessories, although he does not come with one. From what I understand, they do make figure sets that come with backpacks, but they're like, I think they're like the $18 sets or the $15 sets. This one was only a $12er, so, you know, it's a cheaper toy, comes with fewer accessories, but that doesn't make the figure itself any less amazing. There is one thing I wanted to compare him to, because, like I said, if you're going to do 4-inch action figures, and you want to compare him to Marvel Legends. Now, I was going to compare him to this Iron Man that came in the 2-pack with Mega Man X, but I realized that this is a re-release of an older mold that they put out because of the way his hips are like these weird pin discs. So I figured if I did the comparison to this, I might catch some flack that I'm cheating because I'm comparing a really old mold to a brand new mold. But keep in mind, I got this last year, so although this mold was technically introduced a few years ago, Hasbro still deemed it okay to sell for a new retail price last year. So, you know, although I guess this Omega Red figure is probably more fair because he has the bicep swivels and the double jointed knees and the proper ball jointed hips. So yeah, for I just wanted to put out there that, oh, you know what? Omega Red has no waist joint. Yep, they gave him the torso ball joint, which can serve as an ab crunch and a rotation point. So they opted not to give him a waist joint. This guy has both. So yeah, like the way that these figures are made, they're made almost exactly the same. They have all the same kind of articulation, and it, you know, like, it's just that time when I can say a Jazzwares figure is absolutely on par with something that Hasbro made. Like way to go. I love that. Like, I don't like it when one company dominates the market, because then they have no competition and their quality can drop. So to see Jazzwares step it up and become a true contender really makes me feel good about this. So I would highly recommend the Fortnite line. They are amazing toys, and they are simply regular retail action figures. They're not super fancy collectible prices, although they are almost at super fancy collectible quality. So there you go. This has been Wake Angel 2001 saying extremely nice things, and we'll see you next time.